Now then, you're right.
Yeah, I'm alright. How are you?
I'm alright. It's been a minute since we did XG files, isn't it? Is it like? Did we even do them during Euros?
We took a summer break, man. It's all good things sometimes.
By the way,
a little bit of
how zoomed out is that?
I was about
honestly,
to say.
How far? Like, come to us. You're miles away. Jesus,
I was gonna say it's a bit far. Like, do you really think?
It's fine. We need it for the graphics.
Okay. Oh, for the.
Well, we should have had an extra camera in then because that's mental far away. So apparently we need this for the graphics that we're about to do because we are going to do our Premier League predictions. We'll chat to the comments and see what you guys are saying a little bit
and
as we get going as well.
Got my arms out for it to be that. Yeah, I'll do the close up. For it to be that far away on the zoom. Oh, yours is a bit bright, though, isn't it?
It's a bit bright.
A bit overexposed there, isn't it?
Dex out of practice, man. He's just been editing videos like a motherfucker, and now he don't know what's how to work a camera.
See, even Daniel Berry said he needed to put his glasses on for this. Do you know what I mean?
We are far away, but we are going to do our Premier League predictions, and I'm not sure we agree with this. On the way this is going to go. I think we're going to be different there.
I've not fully seen yours, to be fair.
I haven't seen yours at all. I know I put mine in our main group chat, so our graphics guy.
Yeah, I didn't really look. But I think we usually have some. I'm expecting disagreements, but some similar in terms of the Premier League predictions. Because another thing with Premier League predictions is you've still got some transfers to account for that haven't happened yet. That can literally swing things one way or the other. The same way I said to you. I didn't know how much difference it made for Tottenham or Bournemouth, the fact that they've literally just signed Dominic Solanke for nearly 60 million, whether that swings things or not. But
it's an interesting signing. It is an interesting signing. Whether or not he takes them over the line into the top four, obviously we'll talk about that in a minute. But it certainly adds a little bit of depth, which I think they needed.
I think the issue is it's demand, right? And I think the striker market right now in world football isn't amazing. And it's the same with the defensive midfield market too. So I think you're going to see clubs
just getting my list up.
Yeah, you're gonna see clubs overpay for players that probably a little bit.
Well, isn't that the case that happens when you try and buy from the Premier League? Like I mentioned this on, I think I did a live yesterday I did a video at some point yesterday where I said like, when you go to buy from another Premier League team, it's like going to like Juventus. Like it's the same costs, and it shouldn't be. Like a bottom half Premier League team shouldn't be able to charge the same amount that Juventus do for a player, but because we want that used to the Premier League level of intensity, there's a lot of safety in buying players from the league you're in is a great way to buy players, but it's a really expensive way when you're in the Premier League.
It's because when you buy within the Premier League, you say they've got Premier League experience, and then because you don't have to deal with the fact that there's that adjustment period in terms of the league styles that they're coming from or even moving in England. But I still think sometimes when you move around, it's not like it's going to be the exact same. It's a different team, different philosophy, different system. There could be adjustment anyway. Yeah. But
I just think it's one of the boxes that you need. You know, when you're signing a player, can he play in this league? Yeah.
And the prices is also the Premier League tax also is I think it's just Premier League teams just have that much money that they don't really need.
That's what I'm sort of saying is that Premier League teams don't have to sell as much as your average mid-table sort of Serie A team do. So I think that they go, well, nah. If you want, like, look at what Everton have done with Branthwaite. That's insane. Like, you should be talking Ballon d'Or level centre halves for the money that they want for him. And they have, like, they're not even joking. They're like, no, we want like 80, 90 million.
And the Premier League's depth in quality has improved so much to the point where I think sometimes teams that are a little bit lower down in the table that are trying to get some of their best players nicked by the teams further up, think that we're trying to stay in the Premier League. We want this Premier League money. If we sell two of our better players, there's that much quality in this league that could be the difference between us finishing 10th and finishing the bottom three. So they've got to think of it that way. Yeah, they might benefit financially in terms of a big sale, but then how much money they end up losing in the future in terms of their project if they end up getting relegated to the Championship. So
that's the one. Yeah. A lot of the Premier League, certainly if you just enter, there's so much going on, and we've obviously broken down ours into different segments. I think we've got bottom three, bottom half, top half, Europe, top four. Like, all of those are totally different sort of sections of the Premier League with different mindsets and different aspirations and different sort of mentalities as well. Although I think you could probably realistically argue that City and Arsenal, and then there's like six below them that are kind of involved in a bit of a knife fight. But if you're Ipswich this season, you ain't thinking of Europe. You ain't thinking of top 10. You're thinking 17th will do me, mate. Like, that's it, and be well happy with that. Next year that might be different, but right now you're taking it.
Do you know what? How there's this argument about the Premier League and the finances in a way it's almost extending away from the finances there in the EFL, the English Football League. I think the type of stories like a Brighton and Brentford with teams that get promoted and do exceptionally well and finish quite far up in the league, I think that's going to happen less and less, you know. I think from now onwards, because of the money, the power and the quality in teams that have had 1 or 2 seasons in the Premier League, I think a lot of the teams that do get promoted from the Championship, we'll see more of it more and more, where at least 2 of the 3 get relegated straight away. And obviously that's represented in my predictions, but I think it's going to get tougher and tougher for Championship teams to stay in the league when they get promoted.
It'd be good to look at what the trend, how the trend has changed. You know, if you looked at like the early Premier League seasons, what number of the teams promoted stayed up, how many of them made it to the 5-year point, how many of them made it to the 10-year point. Like, that would be really interesting to see. And then if you look at like how that works in other leagues, like for example, you very often see National League teams that enter League 2 are playoff and above. Like, that's not rare. That's quite a regular occurrence. Now, you can caveat that with saying, well, Salford came in and they had one of the biggest budgets in League 2, so they were always going to be there. Wrexham similar, Stockport similar. So you can say, well, there's reasons for that. But the bottom line is, the teams that are coming up from National League generally do quite well when they get into the higher divisions. And that's not always the case for League 2 into League 1. League 1 into the Championship, and certainly isn't the case for the Championship into the Premier League right now, at least anyway. But I wonder when that changed, and if that has changed, or has it kind of always been the case? So obviously you got the boing boing baggies, haven't you? That's always kind of been a thing throughout the prime Barclays era Premier League. But how often, I wonder, has that happened? And it's weird. I mean, obviously we saw Oldham, was it last year or the year before, became the first Premier League team to drop out of the Football League. You know, I wonder how far some of them have slipped, because Bradford had a bit of a moment in the 90s, early 2000s, 90s, where they spent shitloads of cash, went on an absolute madness, threw mad dough at like Benito Carboni and stuff, then went tits up and got relegated all the way back down to League 2. Portsmouth, that was financial irregularities. Leeds, that was financial irregularities. I mean, Manchester City was one of the highest spenders in the 90s. No one will talk to you about this. Manchester City was one of the highest spenders in the 90s and ended up in fucking League 1.
And they got it right this time, didn't they? When he started the influx of money. But yeah, it's. I just think it's tough now for teams that are promoted when they get into have a great season, unless they sacrifice it for being a little bit more pragmatic. Because something I've always said about Championship teams is usually the team that finishes first, playing almost like liquid football. Liquid football. It reminds you of like Norwich. If they keep the same expansive style that they showed in the Championship in the Premier League, they get shagged.
Look at Burnley.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Burnley, Norwich. You know, typically if a team that comes up has had like that sort of dominant possession style of play, you do worry for them, because the level is so much higher in the Premier League that they're not going to get the ball that often. Are Ipswich different? Because they do play with the ball, but they're also a transitional absolute beast, or they were in the Championship. Like, they would take the ball off you and in 2-3 passes they'd be having a shot. So as that sort of future-proofed them a little bit. Like, because McKenna had a real decision to make here. There was obviously, I don't think he was being hunted for the United job. I reckon he was being hunted for Ruud van Nistelrooy's job, in hindsight. Do you know what I mean? The way things have sort of shaken out. I haven't been told that. That's my guesstimation of, you know, Ruud was looking at being a Premier League manager or a Championship manager and decided, actually, I'd rather be the assistant at United. And I wonder if McKenna was offered the same kind of terms. And, you know, I understand that it'd be a step back from him getting Ipswich promoted to the Premier League to then go and be an assistant to Erik Ten Hag. And maybe that's why he said no. You know, because if he was offered the Manchester United job, I don't think he says no to that. But it's a real big decision for him to make, because
I disagree from what you said initially, though. I think he was getting interviewed for the actual...
Maybe. Like I said, I'm not pretending I've got any insight.
Yeah, because now he was getting interviewed for the main job, because the whole consensus was Ineos wanted to get rid of Ten Hag. Do you know what I mean? So I think that's why they interviewed him, and he just came to the conclusion that all the managers were either a lateral move or a decline, so he didn't manage to stick with
But
him.
I also think it was a possibility that he was interviewing for Rouge's job, because we've ended up getting 2 managers in as assistants.
I think it's a little bit different coming from the Eredivisie. First, obviously, Rouge didn't have a job at the time, and Rennie Hack was at Go Ahead Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a bit different from getting Ipswich promoted from the Championship, going to managing the Premier League, to go be an assistant at United. I don't think he would have done that.
Maybe, well,
especially when Chelsea were actually in for him as the main manager as well.
All right. Either way, the point I'm making isn't that. That's not the point I wanted to talk about. The point I wanted to talk about was the decision that he made to stick around at Ipswich at that time, with the speculation and the ability to be able to bounce, whether it was as assistant or to take Chelsea or even to be the first team manager of Manchester United. The point I was trying to make is, he was at a real crossroads in his career there, because he's got this momentum of like 2 promotions, playing in a mad attractive style of football. And this is what worries me, is a lot of that Ipswich team's still League One players. So now you're going to ask asking League One players to play Championship's one thing, asking Championship players to play Premier League's one thing, asking League One players to start doing it in the Championship. I know our mate Ash has done that. It's rare though to come in and be top end of Premier League when you've played League 1, League 2. That's rare. It happens, but it's rare. He was at a real crossroads, because he could have drawn a line under that project, put a bow on it and gone, didn't I do a good job there? On to the next one. Whereas now, if Ipswich do what we've seen Norwich, we've seen Burnley, we've seen countless teams that have absolutely battered the Championship, come into the Premier League and just opening day 6-0 City. And then they shit it, and then they panic and change their style of play, which they're not set up to do, and then they end up getting relegated.
So on that, should we get into the actual predictions then?
Go on then.
Is it me and you bottom 3 that we've gone for?
Yeah, there we go. So let's start with yours then. Let's go.
I was interested when you said you got your phone out, because I thought the predictions are going to go on camera anyway.
They are, yeah. But I didn't know at what point. So
so my bottom 3 is, I've gone for 2 of the promoted sides. I think Ipswich won't have enough quality. I think they might be exciting at times, a little bit of football, but I just think they probably won't have the overall quality in the team to stay up. And I have an issue with the fact that McKenna does have a really nice style of football, very expansive, that they did play, and for that reason I think they might not be able to adjust or be pragmatic enough when they actually come into the Premier League. I think Southampton will finish bottom. I looked at their actual team, not very good, very mediocre. And for some reason I think Forest's time is up. I think they bought a lot of players, they've spent a lot of money, but I think this will be the season where it just all unravels for him, especially with the kind of the clusterfuck their recruitment has been over the past couple of years. But I was kind of thinking whether it was going to be Forest or Leicester City. I almost literally went for the 3 promoted teams, but I think Leicester will be the strongest out of the 3 that get promoted.
Interesting. Okay, so I've gone with 2 promoted teams in there as well. Bournemouth, especially with losing players, I just think their race is run. I just don't see
Bournemouth.
Yeah, I just don't see a spark, an energy, a project. They're just a bit meh for me, and the fan base is meh as well.
I think the only one against that, I know you didn't really rebuttal any of mine. People are being down on Bournemouth, but I think if Bournemouth recoup the money that they've just gotten for Dominic Solanke and get a decent strike on another player, they're good enough, because their gaffer has shown the ability to compete. And we need to remember that Bournemouth were actually really good last season. Where did he finish? Was it 12th or?
They had a bit of a run, didn't they?
Yeah, they were a pretty strong team. They've got the likes of Semenyo and Cliver.
Oh, sorry, Trav nailed it. He said we should have put City getting relegated. Yeah, we probably should have. City just getting relegated administratively. That'd have been funny.
I'm getting clipped up with that.
Oh, does 5th get Champions League this year? It does, doesn't it?
5th get Champions League?
Yeah, I think it does. Or did it depend on where everyone finished last year? Didn't someone have to do better?
I don't think it depends on how well we do this year.
Right, all right.
Well, I don't think Bournemouth should finish bottom.
Yeah, I think I agree with you on Southampton. I think Southampton, to me, just don't feel like they're going to come and stay. And I went for Leicester over Ipswich. Why? Possibly because I like McKenna, and that might be it. And I might not have any more logic than I think I like McKenna.
Yeah.
And I think he might keep them up.
Bournemouth bottom is mad. They've got really good like dynamic wingers though. I just think there'll be a problem for teams on the counter. I think that's what helped them last season. I think they're not the greatest defensively.
I tend to agree with that.
Yeah, but I think
and it's the defence that worries me with them.
And they popped us up twice last season, didn't they?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Do you know what? Maybe that's masked my thinking a little bit, and I'm being like, no, fuck these lot, get them out.
Yeah, I was going to say, is that
do I hold bias? Absolutely, I do.
They've got a decent gaffer.
%.
Areola's a decent gaffer, but we'll see anyway. I think they might be down there thereabouts, but Bournemouth won't get.
ZFB says Howson showing his lack of ball knowledge, but what are they going to win the fucking league, are they, mate? Jesus Christ, turn your fucking napper in.
And to be fair, there's a few people that have balls in the bottom three on there.
People are saying Leicester have got FFP preachers. I didn't know about that. So that might, if they've got a massive points deduction,
I didn't know about that. I didn't know about Leicester. But because I didn't know about that, but we can move on to like the
right. Is the bottom half?
Is the bottom half?
The rest of the bottom half. Who've we got in there? Let's start with yours.
I'll start with mine.
It's very similar actually. A lot of the same teams. In fact, right. So I've got. There's a lot of the same there. I've got West Ham in there. You've not. Who've you got instead?
I've put Leicester just about surviving, but now that might change if they have that massive point deduction.
I'm wondering who's different with you there.
But I thought they'd be there or thereabouts really.
All right.
So I thought Leicester.
Especially with that points
FFP,
deduction, that could pop them down.
They've just lost their gaffer, but they have more quality in their team from almost like a Premier League level standpoint than the likes of Ipswich and Southampton. So I think it'd be nip and tuck between them and Forest in terms of being relegated.
You've got Everton in there and I've not.
Yeah, you've got Everton top half.
I think they're 10th.
Crazy. Well, and then I've got Fulham. I think Fulham, Marco Silva, they're decent, but I don't think they're going to be quite good enough. I think Everton probably have a worse squad than Fulham, but I think Deitch has enough where he'll probably get him finishing just comfortably above the relegation zone in 15th.
I was chatting to Anton yesterday about West Ham, and he said the energy and the mood, and said new gaffer's trying to make them play quite an expansive style of football. Obviously, that's a complete 180 from what you had under Moyes.
Yeah.
He said he was looking forward to it, but have you seen the start they've got? Oh, you couldn't pick a worse start, actually. It's a horrendous start that they've got.
And I can imagine. I'm looking at it now. I'm like, I've got Everton, but I've got Bournemouth because I've got Bournemouth 14th and you haven't bottom. I think Bournemouth have enough quality in the team in terms of, especially their wingers. They have really good wingers. And if they get another forward, I think, and Iraola's a good manager, so I think they can finish there. Brentford 13th, which is where they pretty much finish every single season. I think it'll be no different for them. Doesn't look like Tony's going anywhere.
If they do lose, I've got them 14th, you've got them 13th. Not a lot in that. I've got Wolves 16th, you've got them 11th. They're in the shit though, aren't they?
Wolves?
Yeah.
In the shit? In what way?
Financially, aren't they?
Wolves have looked very, very good in pre-season. And sometimes I judge a lot of this on not even just the players, but the manager. And Wolves, I think Wolves, Gary O'Neill, there's an argument.
Good manager. Well, we was in for him, weren't we?
Yeah, there's an argument that Gary O'Neill's the best English manager in world football. Some people may actually argue that with Gary O'Neill, and Wolves have enough Portuguese flary talents to finish 11th, and I think the probably quality is a little bit lower than that. But I think Gary O'Neill tactically will have him finishing about 11th, and they've actually looked really good in pre-season.
We've got Fulham, Brentford, Brighton. All sort of in the same kind of ballpark a little bit there, aren't we? So we're not too far off there, I don't think.
Do you think Brighton will drop off further than that without De Zerbi?
Remains to be seen.
They've made good signings. They signed Matt Swerfer, who we wanted to sign for ages.
That's a good signing.
They signed that Yakuma Minter from Newcastle, and he's been rising up the pre-season as well.
Notch says 73 years since Everton were relegated. It's time. It is time, isn't it? It is time. It is time. I mean, I'm not predicting it, but I agree it would be time. All right, let's have a look at our top half then. So I've got Everton in 10th. You got West Ham there in 10th. Like I had them in 11th. Okay, we're in a similar kind of ballpark there. I've gone with Palace 9th, same as you there. And then we've got Newcastle 7th and 8th. Not far apart here.
Not far apart at all. And I'm looking at West Ham have had a good transfer window, but I just don't believe in David Moyes. And another argument people might have for West Ham probably finishing higher than that is the fact that West Ham don't have European football.
Yeah. So that hurt them last year, I think.
Yeah, so they don't have European football, so people might think West Ham might be a bit stronger. But I just think, though, David Moyes puts a serious cap on them. I think Palace are a very strong side. I know they've signed... they've got rid of...
They've lost Gay, haven't they?
Gay's not gone to Newcastle yet.
I think he's going though, by the looks of things, isn't it?
If
Gay goes Newcastle, I think that's going to be hard work for Palace to stay in ninth. They could drop to 12th, 13th easy with that.
Yeah, it's true.
Especially losing the star power of...
Moyes is the man. Moyes is gone. What am I about?
Yeah,
Shit.
Moyes isn't there. It's Lopetegui.
Lopetegui. Oh, decent gaffer.
So people have noticed I've got
now.
Liverpool in 8th. What's the problem? What's the problem? They haven't signed anyone. They're potentially losing some of their players. Like, why not?
Yeah.
Why not? United just came 8th this season. Why couldn't they?
Oh, shit. There's me thinking that fucking Moyes was still there.
No, that's what I literally said a minute ago. Spoke to Anton. He said the new gaffer's got him doing a 180 from how Moyes used to play with him.
I might have him a bit low then, because I think West Ham might finish I might swap them and Palace.
But the thing is, though, with Moyes, West Ham wouldn't lose games that they probably should have done. Like, if Lopetegui goes for it against... Sometimes, like, we saw it with Ten Hag, didn't we? Like, you come in and think, I'm going to play this style of football, and then you go and get 7-0 at Anfield, and you're like, okay, we're not playing that style of football no more.
Yeah.
Like, that's possible in this league. So, well, maybe not this season. But yeah, like, what's the issue? You tell me what Slaughter's done to make you think, oh, absolutely, blah, 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 blah. ZBF says Liverpool won't finish 8th. You can see they have a good structure already. You'd have said the fucking same about United when Fergie left. We were champions, and we came 7th.
All right, so with Palace, I think Palace will still be strong. Their manager's shown a lot of qualities. I think Elise won't be as big a miss. And if you go through that actually starting 11 of Crystal Palace, it is very strong.
It's decent.
So
it's decent, but Elise is a bit of star power. That's a problem losing. You got Tottenham in 7th.
Tottenham in 7th. Yes. Newcastle, I think, will just finish 8th. I think if they sign a right winger and if they do get Gay, then I think that consolidates the fact that they'll probably finish 8th. And have Newcastle got European football?
They're Europa, aren't they?
If they do or not, that could make a bit difference. But their squad is kind of was very, very stretched last season with the Champions League. So I think they won't have as much of a problem with that. It depends how they recoup their money. I know that they've got FFP issues. I think Tottenham have made very, very good signings this summer. And I think another year on with Ange.
So why 7th?
With 7th, I can't believe in Tottenham any more than that. I'm sorry. I think they'll have too many games where they'll Spurs it, but they'll be decent enough throughout the whole time where I think I can see them finishing 7th. I'm pretty much sure that. The only one now is because Lopetegui's at West Ham is changing that.
NF99 says Liverpool's squad is top 6 at least. But what happens? They get a couple of injuries. They've got like half a dozen players that are on their last year of their contract. I think some of them are going to go this summer. They haven't signed anybody. Like, we'll find out. We'll find out what was Klopp's doing, what else is going on at the club. But like, I genuinely don't think 8th. I think from 3rd to 8th, it's pretty close. Like, look where United finished last year, and I think a lot of that was going to be because of injuries and stuff like that. Jay Coates says, you reckon Newcastle will have a worse season than last season?
They don't have European football, so they definitely will be better.
But the thing is, though, you're saying they have a worse season than last season with no Europe. The thing is, it's not necessarily about how much that team improves themselves. It's how much everyone else can make up ground on them or understand the way they play and actually recognise their tactics and know how to deal with them.
I think a lot of Newcastle's issues last season was the fact that they were so stretched in terms of their squad wasn't the deepest. They had a lot of injuries. They play a very intense style of football. And I think the multiple games a week was affecting them that way.
Maybe. But you don't know if that intensity is going to just continue with the injuries this season. It's possible.
Okay.
And it's possible for us as well. But we could easily be decimated by injuries. Right, let's see Europe. I've gone Villa, Tottenham. You've gone United, Chelsea.
I've gone Chelsea.
You're putting Villa in the top 4. I like.
Yeah, I've gone Chelsea 6th. I think they're a car crash, but I think you can't just overlook.
I think I've overcooked. Looking at how bad they've been in pre-season, and I know it is only pre-season, but the errors are structural, not like wait till this lad gets fit, or like they're an absolute car crash.
Yes, I think Chelsea's squad,
Chelsea could be 8th.
Chelsea should be better than that, but I think the best Chelsea finish with how they look at the moment is 6th. I think there's too many players, but I think I've given them leeway for the fact that Chelsea signed so many players that they might get one person. Chelsea might get one decent player before the window ends, because they might sign about 7 before the window ends at this point. And I think one of them might end up being like a Palmer kind of thing. The Stoke might get Osimhen. So I think 6th is the best that they can finish. Maresca's might be a little bit out of his depth. We don't know quite yet. But from a quality standpoint, he should do better than 6th. But I think 6th is the best I can see Chelsea finishing.
All right, yeah, I've gone with Tottenham Villa. I potentially got Villa a little bit mixed up there, but I think they've signed well, and I like Emery.
Don't give in to peer pressure on the comments. Do you know what I mean? Because you know what it is.
Oh no, I'm just saying.
Football opinion is a subjective thing. There's no right.
But I also think Tottenham have got the potential to push real hard into the Champions League places, and obviously I've got Chelsea, United, City, and Arsenal in the top 4.
Yeah.
The thing is about Chelsea's squad is if it clicks, it is sick.
I don't think it will click.
No, and they could easily be anywhere from 4th to 8th, and not be a surprise in any way, shape, or form whatsoever. And they could also have a new manager by fucking New Year's Day. So
yeah, that's what I mean. Because you got to be people like, oh, what are you on about? No, what? It's just your opinion. Do you know what I mean? It's an opinion-based thing, football. And you know what? People are ready to jump down your throat.
People are just mad at Liverpool. Let's season start. Let's.
It's like I got obliterated. It slipped my mind that Lopetegui is the gaffer. Do you know what I mean? And that one comment out of a 60-minute podcast will get people just going on. You know, people are so cynical, innit? We're going on about that. But I think United finishing 5th, and I think that's wishful thinking for me. Oof. I'm not going to lie. At this current time.
I know I've sort of said, well, Newcastle could get injuries, and I'm thinking we won't get so many injuries. We could easily get the same level of injuries. I'm just thinking there were so many players that had just absolute fucking 0 out of 10 seasons last season, and there were so many players that had injuries last season. I just can't imagine it happens the same way. I think Newcastle still had players that had good individual seasons last season, and we just didn't. I just can't see us being... I can't see both things being true for United this year. Like we might get injuries and we might get poor form, but I don't think we get injuries and the poor form. Like, do you know what I mean? Yeah. And that could be nonsense and easily could have both again. But I just feel like it's not going to happen. I think because of there's a bit of momentum. Okay, it's stalled a little bit with the signings, but I just feel there's a little bit of momentum and excitement with the project at United, and I think that pushes us into. I've got us 3rd.
Okay, fucking hell. Might as well show us the top 4 then. Who have we gone for?
How Liverpool 3rd, Ronnie?
How Liverpool 3rd?
Oh, not a chance.
Do you think I was happy about that? I honestly think... I spoke to Deck.
Oh, because he's not biased.
No, but...
Ginger Scouts.
I wish more than anything that Liverpool shit the bed and decline. Honestly, Deck, how much do I wish that? No one can wish that more than me. But I can't... I can't find myself...
Fucking put him in 8th. That's the fucking game. Just say 8th. Fuck off.
I can't find myself justifying it. Do you know what I mean? I think Liverpool's squad is nowhere near as bad as people think. Because before this, obviously did a bit of research. I was looking at their players. I was looking at Liverpool's squad. And I don't think... They finished 3rd last year with basically the same squad. They might have a little bit of a manager bounce at some point. Who knows who they sign now as well? They've been linked to like Subamendi. David Ornstein's come out and said they're going to make 2 additions. Do you remember when
they were linked to Mbappe for about 20 minutes?
Nah. So I don't know. I think Liverpool finishing 3rd. I was 3rd or 4th, but I didn't think Villa had enough to just finish above Liverpool. So that's why I've said Liverpool 3rd is what I can unfortunately see happen.
I can't see Liverpool being anywhere near 3rd. And obviously, like people are like, we finished 8th, blah, blah, blah. Listen, I still think that United are capable. And I think that if we get a good starting 11 out, we're all right. And people, they're absolutely right to point out that United are not any way better than we were last season. And I absolutely agree with you on that front. However, with actually getting that team out more often, I think we win a lot more of those games. I think Ten Hag's learnt. over the last couple of years
Yeah.
that he's been here as well. So I just see us being a little bit better. Now, third isn't, oh, we were close. It's going to be them two, 20 fucking points, and then that 6 of United, Chelsea, Villa, Newcastle, Liverpool, Tottenham. Like, I just think it's going to be those two, and then a little mini league table of 6 of us.
I agree. So 64 Ahmed says Arsenal at first and second, ? This podcast fell off. This is the low IQ individuals that I'm talking about.
Where else are they going to finish?
This is what I mean. That get really, really annoyed about something that's a fucking subjective, opinionated opinion, which is football.
And also,
there's no right or wrong answer. He's acting like you know where Arsenal have finished already. Do you know what I mean? And this is
by the way, mate,
second.
They're finishing first or second.
They actually are.
Unless there's absolute fucking chaos.
And you heard me moan about Liverpool just then. I hate Arsenal just as much. Everyone that knows me knows I am the biggest Arsenal hater. Am I the biggest Arsenal hater? You know, probably. I probably will be. Like, I actually despise Arsenal. Everything about them. The fan
yeah,
base,
because for most people,
I don't like Arteta.
City and Liverpool take up a big piece on that mantelpiece, but you do have a special sweet spot and a little special chair for Arsenal.
Yeah, Arsenal. But I don't think there's no way that Arsenal finish any lower than second for me. And people might argue that they might win it, but I just can't see past Man City winning again, which is unfortunate. But the best you can hope is
City don't feel right at the moment for me. I don't know if I'm just hoping and projecting, but City feel like I don't know if I don't know if I'm projecting this, but it feels like those charges looming, making it just not quite feel like the happy sort of harmonious gaff that it has been.
But what we haven't spoke about in this top 4 though is the fact I've got Villa in top 4.
No, I get it. I mean, I only
Villa's
put them
squad.
6 because I just thought, I think Chelsea are really capable of going on a madness, and I think Tottenham are working towards something nice. I think there could be like 2 or 3 points between Chelsea and Villa there.
Really?
I think Villa could finish top 4.
Hey, Villa is like Villa's squad. They have Unai Emery, yeah, but Villa's squad is very, very strong. If you go through Villa's team, I'm not gonna lie to you. You look at it in entirety and you think, how many teams in the league have a stronger team than that? And that's actually genuine opinion. You can go through their 1 to 16, and you could argue that Aston Villa have a stronger team than United do. I was looking at their back 4, obviously the likes of Matty Cash, and you have Konsa, they've signed Martin, they've got Moreno, they've got Dino, they've got Konsa, Carlos, Mings, and you go in their midfield and it's Tielemans, McGinn, and
I'm not just letting you skip over Mings like these are good players.
Yeah, no. Jacob Ramsey.
Mings is the fucking worst player in the league. He's the worst player in the league. There is not a worse footballer than Tyrone fucking Mings in the Premier League.
Just saying that
he is a fucking professional footballer, and he is a fucking horrendous footballer. I can go to League 2 today and get you a better fucking defender than Tyrone Mings. Hang on. Janine's ringing me. What the fuck does she want? I am live on XG Files right now.
Put on me, right? So you've got, it's like, people are worried about United's midfield, right? And if you stack up United's midfield of, like, obviously Bruno, Mainu, you've got Casemiro, McTominay, Eriksen, and then you put it next to Villa's of Onana, they've got Tielemans, they've got McGinn, and then they've got Barrenechea, who just signed from Juventus, they've got Jacob Ramsey, Rodgers. I'm not even gonna lie, like they look good to me, and then they've obviously got Duran, Watkins. They've signed that Samuel Lilling Jr. They've signed that youngster winger from Hull. They've got Leon Bailey still. I know they've sold Diaby. They look strong, man. But yeah, I did sneak Mings in there, and I actually think Mings is shite as well. And I've got a special hatred for Mings as well, because I think he's a proper dirty guy. Remember what he did to
Mings do to Steve? Well, he's fucking stamped on Zlatan.
Yeah, that's Zlatan.
It's not about that, though. He's just a fucking awful footballer. Watch football. Watch him and go, Jesus fucking Christ, how are people buying him?
Steal some people in football that probably don't rate him as well. I've not met anyone that rates Tyrone Mings.
It's interesting when you chat to footballers, and there's no camera rolling. You don't get their polished mates with everyone opinions.
Yeah,
Mings is, and you know it's usually me that drives this shit, but Mings is fucking shit. Like, He's proper shit.
Yeah, you've been strong on that, and actually, I know Diaby's gone. He sold Diaby to Saudi for 50 million, so they might even recoup that. But you know what I mean? Are we not
fucking Ash is going off here. His head has gone.
Do you know what we should do next chat though? Yeah, we should do next chat. Is there a way? I know we got the predictions on, but is there any way that we can get up United's first 10 fixtures? Because this was an interesting topic. So United's first 10 fixtures in the Premier League, if there's some way we can get that up. And I want us and I want people in the comments to predict the amount of points that they expect us to get from those first 10 games. Because that was a massive talking point yesterday.
Is there any bias in this? Yeah, loads. This is the fucking... Like, I come here biased. I do not pretend to be match of the day. I will never be match of the day. I am me, and I just fucking decide to say what I say. I put Arsenal 8th last couple of seasons. Did I believe it? Not really. But did it boil all the Arsenal fans' piss? Absolutely. Is that what I've done here? No, not necessarily. I actually do think Liverpool are going to fall off. 8th, I'm probably exaggerating a little bit there, but like they're not top 4.
Yeah, probably not.
They're not top 4.
Probably not top 4. I'm looking at that, obviously, there's a lot of West Ham hype before. I still think their midfield's a bit weak. Like Souček, Alvarez, Ward-Prowse. Do you know what I mean? Everyone thinks about they're a bit top heavy. I know their main striker signings is been Füllkrug from Dortmund. Like,
which could go either way.
Could go either way. But if we can get the first 10 fixtures, have you seen the first 10 fixtures?
I haven't actually fully looked into it because like people will be like, are you going to do a reaction video to the fucking to the fixtures coming out? No. Like, are we playing everyone home and away?
We can scan over it, innit?
Sweet.
Not going to do that.
It's not. I think it's not good content. I don't think. I'm just like, whatever.
Yeah,
are we playing everyone? Sweet. Are we play Fulham next week? Cool. After that, don't really give a fuck, to be honest. Like, we play who we play. Once you start getting European fixtures, you can start going, okay, that looks like a bit of an iffy run, that looks like a bit of an iffy run. But until you get the European fixtures in, it fucking makes no sense. Also, half of these are getting moved for telly anyway. Like, so, you know what I mean? What's the fucking point in, like, getting the reactions to the fixtures and going, oh my God, look at this run? Because in between it, you might be playing fucking MK Dons in the League Cup, or you might be playing fucking Bayern Munich or something. Who knows?
Yeah,
you don't
things
know.
change. You might be injured at some point.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you might have a fully fit squad and be sound, or you might have fucking Crystal Palace at home, but have no defenders, and that's a problem fixture. So you have no fucking idea. So it's a waste of fucking time talking about it. So fucking reactions to Premier League fixtures can fucking get in room 101 in the fucking bin. Fuck off.
Steve.
What?
You see what Boss said there?
Who?
The white guy.
The white guy is the biggest Arsenal hater in Manchester from all the comments I've seen him make. Thank you. Appreciate that. Right, so
that's a badge of honour.
Yeah, do you think I give a fuck about that? Honestly, fuck Arsenal. Your fans are fucking absolutely... When you look up Delulu in the fucking dictionary, it's got a picture of Arsenal fans.
And what did you think about the Arteta thing about him hiring that pickpocket thing and all that?
He's so fucking cringe. Honestly, I hope he doesn't win. I've predicted you silly cunts to win the league this year, right? If you don't win the league this year and he ends up moving on to do something else and he's not won anything more than an FA Cup with Emery's squad, then all you've got is the most cringe-worthy David, because he's got a fucking Spanish accent. It's cool. No, he's a fucking bellwith, right? Imagine doing that. Imagine that coming out. Oh, the gaffer hired... You can imagine David Brent doing it, can't you?
Yeah.
You literally can imagine David Brent at the office Christmas party, hired a pickpocket to rob everyone's watch. He's like, stay alert, lads. Like, fuck off. It's the most cringeworthy bellend shit ever. I'd rather see him drawing campfires on his fucking whiteboard than coming out with bullshit like this. Absolute. Oh, play the fucking speakers. Let's get the fucking Anfield music on. Oh my fucking God. This guy, you can't make this guy up. He's so fucking cringeworthy. He suits that fan base.
And you know what? And you know what I actually want to happen? What I can't wait for happen is someone to absolutely wipe him out on the sidelines. Why is he always... why? He's never in his technical area. He's basically standing on the pitch half the time. And you know, like, have you seen how close he is when he's watching games? He's literally stood on the line, on the chalk line.
I can't say much about that.
Nothing gets said to him.
I do the same.
And I just wait. No, but no other Premier League manager does it. And he needs to get wiped out, barking at other players and all that. And I think there's been a couple of times where players have been running down the line and they've like bumped into him and he's done the whole victim thing. Oh, what are you doing? When he's literally stood about 10 yards outside of his technical area, shouting and trying to look busy while his fans lap it up. Arsenal fans, man, terrible.
Anyway, so first few fixtures. Fulham, not the easiest one, that. Friday night. week on Friday. Someone says, when's the Community Shield? Tomorrow, our kid. Tomorrow. In about an hour and a quarter. Tomorrow. Brighton away, early kick-off. That's a fucking problem. You don't want to go Brighton for an early kick-off, do you? That's a fucking nightmare one to get to. Then Liverpool at home, sound. On a Sunday, top. And then Southampton away. I would hope we pick 3 points up at least there. Crystal Palace away. I would hope we pick 3 points up there. Spurs at home, that could be a good one. But Villa, Spurs, Crystal Palace, Liverpool, Brighton, and Fulham first game of the season is not a great fucking start to the season. It's not when no one's fit.
It's not. But what I will say is, looking at Premier League fixtures like that, when you're looking at 5, 6, or 7, it's a bit. The Premier League's got so much quality in it, though. Like you can always look at 90% of the games and think, it's not an easy one, innit? So is that why you don't like looking at fixtures? Because it's like most fixtures are these days.
I mean, Liverpool after Brighton, that's not a great look. Even Liverpool at home, even we don't know what they're going to be like.
Selhurst Park on a Saturday. Oh, it's an evening as well. Evening kickoffs at Selhurst Park. It's not the one. Then we've got United Spurs. I think United have got record.
Arsenal fans in the comments are fucking crying. That's why everyone hates you.
Who?
Arsenal fans.
Someone's
We've got 13 league titles and at least we're challenging and not in a relegation battle like United. When was United in a relegation battle, you absolute turbo fuckwit? Like, genuinely, when was United in a relegation battle? 1989? Was you even alive then? United aren't in a relegation battle. We came 8th and we was like, 3 points off fucking top 5? You absolute spanner. Like, we're not even close to being in a... Jesus fucking Christ. Honestly. Arsenal... You've just basically gone, Arsenal fans.
Do you know what I mean?
Fucking helmets all over the gaff.
They're so strange, man. They speak with such a cocky arrogance for someone for a fan base that have won nothing. I think it's overcompensating.
HD didn't even fucking exist the last time you won a title. You know that, right? You do know that, right?
They don't.
Hey, yours gold?
Yours
is the fucking size of a kettle, mate. No one gives a fuck. The one you got awarded on the day is the same one that the rest of us got awarded. Then you had a little special fucking touchy cock ceremony where you got the little kettle looking one, right? You know what I mean? Yours gold, though. You haven't won one since. No one cares. You absolute bores. You lost 6 times the season you were so-called invincible.
After all
2 of them was to Middlesbrough.
After all this that we're saying about Arsenal, yeah?
I still think you're going to win the fucking league this year.
We still both have them top 2. We both still predicted your club to either win the league or finish second. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what does that say?
Meanwhile, United are supposedly fighting relegation. You lot are supposedly fighting for titles and absolutely back somehow. We've won 2 trophies the last 2 years. You've won, what, a Netflix documentary? Well fucking done, lad. Well done.
Oh, embarrassing.
Yeah, Juiced says they don't win anything, but they speak the loudest.
Yeah, the biggest achievement last season was having Kim Kardashian in the stands. That was... I remember the posting stick like that. That was their biggest achievement. Oxygen Thieves in the chat. Someone said their niece has the same hairstyle as me. Their 11-year-old niece.
Oh, cool.
That's pretty harsh.
Yeah, United are fucked if we get more injuries. There's no 2 ways around that. Like, yeah, United are fucked. Gucci says Manchester is blue. Which fucking bit? Because not even the sky's blue in Manchester, mate. So fucking calm your tits down. You know what I mean?
That's facts. You know what I mean?
Fucking hell. Which part? Do you think they could fill the gaff at some point then if it was blue? Fuck me.
I think they're on about Openshaw. I will say anytime I've gone in near Sports City for athletics and I see the City Superstore, the age range of the people that are there,
12 to 17.
It's like 15 years old and younger. I don't see anyone older than that. So what that does, it's just a bunch of glory hunting.
City must run you lot all over Manchester. Spurs could never. What does that even fucking mean? What does that even mean? Genuinely.
I don't know, man.
You know the last time we met, we beat them. And all right, there's a good chance we're getting a shagging tomorrow, but
see, even Liverpool didn't beat. They struggled against us last season, didn't they? Liverpool.
It was clean sheet away. What was the score at home?
I think it was a draw again. Was it?
We beat him in the FA Cup.
Beat him in the FA Cup
with one of the maddest fucking thingies.
I think it was 2 draws and a win.
Oh yeah, Klopp didn't beat us, did he, last year? Because he's not beaten Ten Hag since that 7-0. Which I think they're still winning on aggregate. If you
they think Premier League goals are an aggregate. I mean, it's the same thing.
That was bad, to be fair. I mean, I get it. Like, we put 8 past Arsenal. They've not had a reply since. But you're like, it's rough. You lose that bag, it's rough. You know what I mean? No two ways around it. But you know.
Do you know what I mean? Because we put 8 past Arsenal. That's eternal banter against them. They've literally struggled to get any sort of victory against us at Old Trafford up until last season, where they came into that game on like the different side of the spectrum of form. Everyone thought he was going to get slapped, and he just about scraped to 1-0. Was it the Trossard goal? And we actually almost had more chances than them. So I don't know. And then we ended the season with a trophy. They didn't. And Arsenal need to be careful. They're giving the rest of the teams a chance to catch up, where they can stop claiming that run City close trophy.
Imagine that being your thing. You run City close, open top bus. Fuck me.
Everything they criticise Liverpool for.
Yeah, and by the way, that whole era where it was Liverpool versus City, where Liverpool literally won 1 title and City won 6. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, honestly, Klopp's farewell tour. It was a bit of a funny one, wasn't it? The League Cup, 1 out of 4, hungry for more, starving by now.
I've screenshotted that picture. That part of his.
Oh, the Van Dijk one, and they said I was finished. Yeah, you're right, mate. And now you've won a League Cup. You're absolutely fucking back.
It's the one where he looks defeated like that, Klopp, and it's like, I'm tired, and everyone's like screenshotted it. It looks hilarious. I've used it.
He's actually fully retired now, isn't he?
Yeah. He didn't. I think he's got loads of job offers, as you expect, and he just said, "Nah, I just don't want to manage for a little while. Probably spend time with his family."
The fact that he came out and said, "I don't want to manage," has left the door open to an other role in football, though, hasn't it? Like, I wonder if there's something else on the table there for him.
Yeah.
Who do you think's going to be England boss?
Graham Potter.
Do you really think it's going to be him?
Don't know. They'll probably make it another English manager. Gary O'Neill, maybe. Not sure. Good question.
It's not the same reason when Southgate got it. There's not a wealth of options, is there?
No, there isn't at all, to be fair.
All right, Telly's gone off behind us. That's a sign.
Sign.
Before we do go, I want to show you this because we didn't take Ronnie because Ronnie was doing what, Ronnie? Didn't want to get his hair wet or muddy. So we didn't take Ronnie out on this. However, we did take the rest of the lads on the squad on an excellent little weekend with Civvy to Commando. Check this out.
Who's in? Let's go.
Push forward, push forward, push forward.
So go check that out over on Stretford Paddock FC YouTube. It was a brilliant video. There's no Ronaldo in it because he didn't want to get his hair wet. But the lads who went on it enjoyed it, loved it, and it's had a bit of a positive impact on the club since. We've got part 2 going to be coming out very soon. But if you're interested in doing that, whether it's your workplace or you as an individual, Civvy's a Commando. If you go and watch the video, all of the links are going to be there underneath that for you. But go check them out because they really put the lads through the paces. Or if you are thinking about joining the military as well, they do run courses which get you prepared so you actually can get into basic training and pass, whether it's obviously they specialise in the Commando course for the Royal Marines, but also any other military courses as well. So go check the fuck out of that one, and we will see you next Friday when it's the opening game of the season. See you in a bit. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, 5-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.